What's up, guys? Welcome back to the FNG Academy. Today I'm going to bring you top 5 tips for land navigation. Land navigation freaked me out a lot. It's one of the things I felt like I couldn't study enough for to get ready for SFAS, and honestly I was nervous as shit. Cadre are going to teach you everything that you need to know about land nav, but there are some tips that could help you make that transition easier and give you a better shot at getting selected. Tip number 1, get some kind of study material like this book right here. This book is the U.S. Army Map Reading and Land Navigation Handbook. So is this book going to teach you the best way to land nav? No, it's not. But this book is going to show you how to read a map and how to start recognizing contour lines, elevation changes, draws. You need to be able to identify terrain features on a map. So first tip, pick up a book like this and start studying it so you know how to read the key on a map, how to find true north and things like that. So there's a lot of little things that you can know in advance that are just going to help your transition and your learning once you get to SFAS and make it a lot smoother. Tip number 2, you need to learn how to terrain associate. So once you've done tip number 1 and you can start reading a map and you can start identifying terrain on a map, hills, valleys, draws, things like that, then it's time to get into tip number 2. And that is taking the map, going to a place, whether it's a hiking spot or whatever, get a printout if you can, find a map and see if you could identify terrain features on that map. So you figure out where you are, so you know you're standing somewhere within the vicinity of your map. You could see that on the map there's 2 hills, there's a draw, there's a water feature, there's something large and identifiable. See if you could triangulate your location by finding multiple identifiable points on the map and in the terrain that you're looking at. That's tip number 2, is learn how to terrain associate. And all terrain associate means is that you're using the map's features to be able to go from two-dimensional drawing, see from the map to where you're standing and have that make sense. It's kind of tricky at first. It's not as easy as you think it would. So hill, and all of a sudden everything is just right there. It's tough. It takes practice. Tip number 3, don't take shortcuts. So when I told you that in selection they're going to teach you everything you need to know about land navigation, I mean it. They're going to teach you step by step exactly what you should be doing. But you'd be surprised how many people throw that information out the window and just dead reckon from one point to the next because they think it's going to be faster. It's a horrible, horrible idea. And this is the thing that you need to understand about where you're going to be doing land nav in SFAS. North Carolina has got some shitty draws. Everyone that's ever been there has been eaten by a draw monster, and those fucking draw monsters are no joke. They will devour you. Like, I've walked into a draw thinking I was just gonna push through it real quick and became completely stuck. I couldn't move forward, I couldn't move backwards, I could not get out. I had to have somebody that was with me. Luckily we're pushing through from our starting point, so there was a small group of us before we could span out, and they had to physically pull me out of the draw because I was so stuck in it. So make a good plan, stick to the plan, do not take shortcuts, and do not try to dead reckon from point A to point B. All right, tip number 4, don't panic, problem solve. If you get to where you think your point is going to be and it's not there, don't start panicking. That's where everyone's going to get jacked up. Now's your time to start problem solving. You need to think on your feet. You need to use that terrain association to figure out where you're at, to figure out where your point is supposed to be. If it's supposed to be at the bottom of a hill and you've identified within 500 meters of where you think it's supposed to be a hilltop, well, go to that hilltop and start looking down and using the height to your advantage to see if you could find your point. Panicking is the worst thing you could do. And probably the most important tip, choose a good route. It's insane. That is like the most important thing you could possibly do. If you see a giant draw Like your point's here and your point's up here and you're down here, and you got to get to that point. And there's a giant draw that goes in between your point. Do not plan on going through that draw. If you have to, plan out past the draw and then circle around to come back, you go around that draw. Do not get stuck in that thing, because it will ruin your entire plan. And that goes for everything. You're going to be able to identify places on the map that you just don't want to be in. And sometimes you can't avoid those places, but you could minimize being in them by making a good route. If that route is a lot longer, then so be it. Pick a good route, stick to the plan, do it the way they teach you to do it, and you'll be fine. And when I say do it the way they teach you to do it, obviously you'll see when you get there, but there's so many tricks to make sure that you know where you are as you're going. There's backstops, there's checking your azimuth on roads. For example, let's say you're going to parallel a road, and you get to the road and you just assume that it's the right road, so you start paralleling it. You go back in 100 meters and you're paralleling, and then 500 meters later you realize it's the wrong road. Now you're screwed. Instead, you get to the road that you think is yours, you check the azimuth of the road on your map, you realize that your road should be shooting 270 degrees. You stand on your road and you check the azimuth and realize that your road is shooting 180 degrees or 40 degrees. Now you know for a fact that that's not your road. It's those little things that people skip and then end up getting lost and end up failing. You're going to know what to do. The hard part is going to be keeping yourself calm, taking your time, and not letting time be a factor in your decision-making process. You have plenty of time. So use your cognitive ability to think through the situation, do what the cadre tell you, pick a good route, and you'll be fine. All right, guys. Thanks again. I hope you like the content that I'm bringing. I hope you like the BJJ vlog. It took me forever to figure out how to edit, but there's going to be more stuff coming like that. I want to take you guys along with me to see the types of things that I do that help my mindset and allow me to live the life that I live. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get this channel growing. Thanks for coming, and let me know what you guys want to see next.